And so welcome everybody to the CAWES Feral Cat event. On behalf of Bowen Island Municipality, I would like to thank CAWES for their 20 years of work with controlling feral cats and improving the welfare of feral cats and other animals here on Bowen Island, including wildlife. And I'm really excited that Kim Sinclair, Executive Director of the SPCA, or sorry, oh, whoa, I'm so sorry, I did that because we were talking about that. There's a great SPCA video coming up. The Executive Director of CAWES, Coast Animal Welfare and Education Society, is here, as well as Ellen Kaiser, a board member for CAWES. And missing today, with regrets, is Carol, who is the president of CAWES. Carol McNaughton, is it?
She's a board member.
Okay.
Deb Fortescue-Merrin is actually the president at the moment.
Okay,
yeah.
Very good,
yeah.
Deb. So without further ado, Kim Sinclair is going to be giving a presentation about the history of CAWES and then the great work that CAWES is doing with regards to our feral cats on Bowen. So over to you,
Bonnie.
Kim.
Thank you very much. Please excuse me if I keep turning sideways. I do have a rough script on the side here that is going up and down. So I just wanted to thank everyone for attending on this Saturday afternoon, taking the time out to spend some time with us to figure out what it is we do. As Bonnie said, we're in our 20th year. I haven't been involved for 20 years. And if you don't know me, as most people often do on the island, I am Kim Sinclair, and I have just been appointed to the part-time position of Executive Director with the Society. If you know anything about non-profit organizations, you know there's no such thing as part-time. You know, you go in for 2 or 3 hours in the morning and you end up spending 7 or 8 because things come up, and we always need some extra help with things that come up all the time. Now, I thought we would start off the whole talk with a bit of the history of CAWES. It started off with a group of women around a dining room table 20 years ago. I was actually there for the naming of the society and the commencement of it, but had to walk away when the others took over and did a fantastic job. For a little bit of history about CAWES, we're in our 20th year. We started off with 3 or 4 women. And over the 20 years, CAWES has rescued hundreds of cats, some dogs, some birds, and even rabbits that have been discarded in some way or another. We've trapped numerous feral cats and had them spayed or neutered to help control the stray cat population on the island. 2 of the most important creators of this group have both passed. We pay tribute today as well in our 20th year to 2 fabulous women that were keystone making this society what it is, and that was Iris Carr and Rosalie Parrish. Wonderful women who did everything to get this organization started. So what am I going to tell you today? I thought I'd start off by showing you this little video that was given to us by the SPCA, which will explain exactly what we're trying to get across to people and how important it is to have your animals spayed and neutered, and to take responsibility for looking after this animal. Bunny, would you put that on for me?
Siblings to keep warm. This little kitten runs quickly, and soon she's outside in the world. Cats and kittens spend their time outdoors, facing animals. Plus, has a sneaky nose. Catching is harder to sense.
Can you guys hear it? Oh.
Sorry about the audio.
No worries. Yeah,
glitch.
I think people got the gist of it. I hope people get the gist of it anyway. That was loaned to us by the SPCA, who are backing CAWES quite nicely at the moment. Like if we need a reference to anything, if we, need to understand what we should do in a certain situation, they are very, very supportive, and we're very lucky to have them on our side. So you saw from the video, it's a simple way of looking at what happens when people don't spay and neuter their animals. Spaying and neutering sometimes is looked upon as unkind, unnecessary, not fair to the cat. We had so many different reasons for not spaying the cats. They say that sorry?
Expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive. I've heard things like my children want to experience the benefit of birth, and it's like, it's just unfair. We've heard that if we spay or neuter a cat, they won't hunt mice. Well, both of those reasons are very selfish and extremely self-indulgent, and have no welfare for the cat whatsoever. But cost can be a problem. We understand and recognize that. That's why we always advocate that cats are adopted from a local animal charity, because when they do that, the spay and neutering cost is usually included in the cost of the adoption, which works out really well. And it's pre-planned, and it's a just go to and get it done kind of situation. So as an animal welfare organization, CAWES will also always be available to help with families that need assistance with the financials. We do get a really good discount from our vet, and we are happy to pass that on to the families, or we'll pay for the spay and neutering. And we ask, if they can in future times, if they can pay back the amount, that's amazing. But we definitely would not stop an animal being spayed or neutered just because of cost. We have recently just taken into care a tiny, emaciated little unspayed female of about 4 or 5 years old. She's what I would say is the epitome of abandoned cat. There were 2 of them that looked actually very similar. We can't say if they actually came from the same litter, but my feeling is they may well have. This little girl, we called her Newt. She'd obviously been in a battle with something, as her eye was very badly damaged, and she showed signs of trauma where she had an abscess on her neck, and she was very, very skinny and had to have like special amino acids to get her back to health. Newt is now getting all the care she needs from a lovely volunteer who's taken her on from the moment that she followed her at home. We did post her picture, nobody came forward to claim her, and a cat of 4 to 5 years old that hasn't been spayed has probably been out there quite a while on her own. I think she came in and followed the family home just because of the eye, and she needed help, and she knew she needed help, so she came forward. She now has to go to the eye specialist on Monday, and she may have to have her eye removed. But again, because we have taken her on as one of our cats, we have to take this through to the end. It's going to be an expensive process, but we will make sure she gets everything she needs. So next part of the organization is we're going to talk about feeding stations. We have one feeding station set up right now. It's at the recycling depot, and it's being used by 1 or 2 cats at the moment, which we're trying to figure out if they should be trapped and brought into our system to figure out what they need. One of them is most likely pregnant, we think, but we won't know until we've actually trapped it. Now, Ellen's with us today, and I was going to bring her into the conversation just to say, what is our process for trapping? I can tell you, but I've never actually done it. So I was hoping that Ellen would take us through the actual process of how we trap cats, how we tell, if a cat is actually feral, or if it's just somebody's cat that got caught in a trap. Is that okay for you?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so I've been trapping here on Bowen for years, and we have many different locations on Bowen at the moment where we have had success with adult cats and kittens and nursing mamas. And the process generally is cats are spotted by members of the public, they notify CAWES, and then I go out sometimes with another CAWES member, and we start setting the traps in the evening, and then we get up and we go and check them in the middle of the night, and we do that again in the morning, and we do that for days at a time until we actually get the kitty. So once we have a cat in the trap, we bring it back to my house. I have rooms that are designated for holding cats for short periods of time, also for fostering if it needs to be longer, but generally just it's usually in the middle of the night when we catch them. So there aren't vet clinics open here on Bowen. And so we take them in, they get transferred into a larger kennel and they spend the night. We put the food, the water. If they don't look like they're immediately injured, if the cat looked like it was in serious distress, then we would be taking it. We would have to charter the marine taxi over to one of the ER clinics on the mainland. We've not had to do that yet. So the kitties that we are trapping do look in decent condition so far. And we contact the vet clinic first thing in the morning, and then see if they can do an exam on the kitty. And at that point in time, we are able to determine whether or not it is spayed or neutered. The vet's able to do an exam and let us know also the general condition of the kitty. And at that time, we're able to determine too whether or not it's feral or if it's tame. We can usually tell in the trap if it is a feral cat. The feral cats, their eyes are enormous. Sometimes they're completely still, like frozen. Other times they are hissing and swatting. They're reacting in quite an aggressive way. The tame cats are usually just meowing, curious. We can touch them from underneath and they're fine with that. So if the cat is very clearly tame and I can be touching it through the cage wires safely, then I can let it out that evening into one of my foster rooms. If it is not friendly through the bars, then it gets carefully transferred into a larger kennel so that I can actually pick that kennel up in the morning and take it directly to the vet clinic. So once we get the report back from the vet and we know what has to happen, if it is in fact a sterilized cat and is tame, then we will advertise on Bowen so that we can locate the owners. And if there isn't an owner that comes forward, then we foster the cat and it will get adopted out through our adoption protocol and procedure. If it is a feral kitty, then we have a few options for relocating the kitty. So if they're young, then they will go into foster because we can usually turn them around. If they are under a year, usually under 6 months, we have much better luck. If it is closer to the 1 year mark, then and feral and really uncomfortable around people, it's going to be a lot of work and a lot of money in a foster system to see if we can even turn it around. It's better really for the cat at that point that we just put it in a secured barn, private barn situation with people who have agreed to take on a barn kitty, and they're going to feed it and they'll monitor it for us. Or we have other temporary, well, no, permanent secured locations as release sites that are also on private property. And the other option that we have too, if we start to catch a whole bunch of them, is that we can do a release back into a safer area with a monitored feeding station that isn't in fact an enclosure limiting capacity, but they would still be free roaming. And we'll be able to monitor them on camera as long as they continue to visit that particular site. Did I miss anything, Kim?
No, that's awesome, Ellen. Thank you. I mean, you put it so much better than I do. So that was fantastic because you've been doing it for so much longer, right? That is absolutely amazing. The one thing I just wanted to add there as well is that we do need help with identifying areas that may have a colony there from the public. So that's something, you can drop us an email, you can send, just give me a quick call, any of that. We'd be happy to come out and have a look at that area to see if we can identify them. Because poor Ellen in the summer, she actually, we located a couple of kittens. One was already, had already passed. and the other one passed very shortly afterwards. So these were in the middle of the forest, right, Ellen? And so they were obviously from a colony somewhere that we haven't found. And we really want to get on that. So that's where the public can really come in and really help us. We know it's not, if you see a lot of cats in the middle of the forest and you think they shouldn't be there, we will be there straight away to have a look. The other part of what you said then, as I was just thinking, is we are looking for people to foster as well. They will go through Ellen's, sorry, he's doing weird things on my lap here. I've got the dog on my lap, and that's why he's they will go through Ellen's training program, and because she's been doing this for such a long time, she's an expert at this, and you've got to have the right kind of environment to foster these cats, you know, a quiet home where they can have a room to themselves or something along those lines. And so we're always looking for people to foster, and we're also asking for help with the identification of the with the colonies. So I think that's it on the trapping part. Ellen, do you? Or?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I've been fostering for over 10 years now with the Vancouver Orphan Kitten Rescue Association. So we do have a lot of support also through VOCRA. They've been fabulous, and they have taken many of our kittens over the years. And
awesome. Yeah, we recognize them too, because they were a great support to us too. Yeah. And eventually, you know, we'd actually like to get together with all these organizations and come up with one big organized plan for all of us. Even things like CDART, where they have the disaster animal response team, anything like that we can help with, we would like to be involved with, because as CAWES goes into this next phase of existence in its 21st year, I'd like to be able to set up all of that kind of thing and have a really cohesive you know, community of people that want to help the animals. And we've also, this is slightly off subject, but we've also been approached to by someone to work on the logistics of having a wildlife stopover station, not rehabilitating wildlife on the island, but have a place where we can actually hold them overnight for shipping to the rehabilitation places next time. It means one of us, probably me, will have to apply for a wildlife license, or it could be Ellen. I just saw the way you blinked. It could be you. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. And so that's one of our plans too going forward, to actually have a setup where we can help the wildlife as well, because right now we don't have that. Okay, so going onwards, we were going to talk about, let me see, feeding stations we've done. Oh, donations. We're always in need of donations. It doesn't have to be money, it can be time. People, we would love to have so many volunteers that we didn't have things for them to do, because right now we have a very core base of volunteers and they're doing everything. And so, and that includes me too. I'm running around the island doing this. So we always need some volunteers, but we also need donations of cat food, tuna for Ellen's traps, because that's very important. And we have been very lucky so far. People have been dropping off cans of tuna, but cat food, to keep the animals over the winter, we really do need some extra cat food. We will buy what we can't get, but we will. We try to save the funds for helping out with vet bills and stuff like that. So the fostering of the animals, we talked about that too. Ellen would train anybody that is interested to come and do that. I have a very wonderful volunteer who at the moment is taking care of the feeding station. And it's a good point actually to say here, we did actually just recently purchase what we call trail cameras, so that we get in real time pictures sent to our phones, or sent to my phone actually at the moment, as to who's doing what where in the community. And as the feeding station grow, then we'll have one for each feeding station, so we'll be able to see in real time what these animals are doing, which I think is going to be really useful to us. So what else can we tell you? I think that's all we have to say. Well, going back to the SPCA video, that was something I actually wanted to say afterwards, is you saw on there how animals, like stray cats or even cats that are abandoned, can get attacked by other cats, by wildlife. The mink on the island at the moment are particularly savage, if I want to another word. They are known as the vampires of the animal world, and they will attack anything that they think can be food. I believe they don't actually eat them, they just suck the blood, but that's bad enough, right? And then there's also, like, you know, kittens crossing roads. It's, like a colony that lives probably on the other side of a road. The water supply is on the other side of the road, so they're often crossing roads that, you know, can kill them, for want of another word.
And also, Kim, the avian predators, I don't know if it was somebody from CAWES that posted that photo of the owl lifting up, or I saw it on social media. Especially I've heard the younger owls will test out their ability to pick.
That's actually a good one, yeah, because I have personal experience of that. A good friend of mine, her cat was just, it wasn't a totally outside cat, but they go out at night and then they shut her in at night. Well, she went out just for like 10 minutes and they heard this screaming noise, and they went outside and the owl had literally lifted her from the ground. Luckily, she was a heavy cat, it was in her favor, and they couldn't actually take it, but she ended up with 2 really bad holes in either side, and she, you know, she survived. She went to the vet and everything was fine, but that is a really big deal for animals at night in this environment. Like, I wouldn't let my cats out at night. My cats have always been brought in at night. Yeah, exactly. So and eagles, of course, eagles are another big thing. I'm small, as you know, small dog person, and even when we're on the beach, I have to look up all the time, because we're quite often, like, there's big birds up there, like, you know, circling because they see a little tiny creature and they've decided that might be a snack, you know. So all of that kind of thing, that's another reason for not letting your cats, you know, stay out all the time, and to try to keep them in a bit more. I'm not sure what else I can tell you at the moment. I think I've gone through all of my repertoire.
So Kim and Ellen, you're looking for volunteers, and
yes, absolutely.
And also donations always welcome. So volunteers to man feeding stations, women, person.
Yeah.
And that's great. I just am so grateful as a resident of Bowen Island, but also as a municipal employee that, you know, that you are doing what you're doing, because just, you know, it's astronomical what one female intact cat, the number of offspring and grand offspring and great grand offspring one female cat can produce over her lifetime. So we're so lucky that you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. And I say, as we push forward into year 21, I really think that we're going to be able to ramp up, you know, what we're doing, and make it a safe, you know, place for all the animals on the island. And as I say, if anybody has any kind of, you know, thoughts on animal welfare, we're not just like all about please donate, please volunteer. We'd actually like to know what Bowen Island people think that needs attention on the island. Like we addressed, one of our associates took on the wasting deer disease, and championed that all the way up to get, it's very hard to get a conservation officer here, but she managed to do that, and we were backing her as well. So it's amazing. Any kind of thing like that needs to be brought to attention can come through us, is what we would like to do, because we can reach the people hopefully a little bit easier than the general public.
That's great. And also too, I guess, just the permanent either a microchip or tattooing identification on cats is absolutely really important. And especially, like, I know, Ellen, you were saying that, you know, the vet would check out a tame cat, and, you know, for sometimes I think those space scars are hard to find, you know, but if a cat has a tattoo or a microchip, then, you know, maybe a unneeded opening of the abdominal, you know, cavity, just, you know, that does happen. I don't know if it's ever happened with CAWES, but I know elsewhere, because just those space scars, some of those vets are really good at suturing up, and cats heal amazingly. So sometimes, Yeah. we
Yeah.
just wanna see-
Sometimes
I
what we
hope that
do
every-
is we just keep them, sorry, could I add on to just extend
Yeah,
on that
please do. Yeah.
question or answer? Sometimes what we've done is rather than have them open the kitty up, we just put it into foster for a month,
Yeah.
because then if it doesn't go into heat and it doesn't demonstrate any of those behaviors, then we know that, she's safe. And especially if they're, we did that with a kitty that one of the abandoned cats that Kim was talking about earlier in the summer. I had we think it might be the sibling, the sister, Dusty, was found near Bolton Road.
Great. Yeah.
And that's what the vet did. He shaved. And we took a look, and they are hard to detect, but he thought, I think, that I can see something that looks like a space scar. And so we kept her indoors for the next month. And then she was adopted out after that. And it is part of our contract that if the kitty is missing a tattoo, that it be microchipped, and CAWES does cover that.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
And so for the ferals, once we start catching them and we develop, if the numbers are great, we'll end up with a colony at a feeding station. And what we'll do, because we will continue to set traps at that feeding station, because the feeding stations will lure in new cats that are unsterilized. And so we're going to have them mixing with the sterilized cats, is they notch the ear. So they decide on one particular ear and they'll do a tiny notch. And then that way we know that we're not going for that cat. So
Right.
if that cat ends up in the trap, then it's an immediate release.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for that, Ellen. Yeah, that's very well put. Yeah. So in the absence of any questions from the general public, do you have anything else, Bonnie, that you'd like to us to address? Or
I guess too, just cat owners that, just vaccines. I know people have different ideas about vaccines, but
yeah,
I don't know what CAWES' stance is on that, but it just, again, just
yeah.
yeah.
I have my own personal thing on it, and I won't portray it because I don't know if you see of the idea of the organization, but of course all cats do need to have their first set of shots, their first shots on the boosters. That's absolutely very important. Where it becomes muddy is, and where people disagree, is whether or not they actually require vaccinations every year. And again, I have my own opinion, but I don't really want to put it out to other people, because everybody should make up their own mind and ask their veterinarian at the same time.
That's right.
Yeah, or do your research on the internet, because that you often do find a lot of stuff there. And just research the latest info on vaccinations, because it does change like everything else. Different opinions come up. Like dog food's one of the biggest things I've always been researching, because I make my own dog food, but it changes every 2 weeks as to what's the best food and what's this and that kind of thing. So it is a kind of a strange time. And the other thing is spaying and neutering. Some people say, oh my goodness, we have to leave the cat to have a first litter, because otherwise it doesn't, we follow the SPCA guidelines on that.
Right,
And that is a cat can be spayed at 5 months for sure.
Yeah.
So, and that's before the heat, and it's before anything crazily happens, and it's much safer for everybody. And also, the cat becomes very distressed during the first heat too. It's not a pleasant experience, I believe.
A loud experience.
It's a very loud experience, yeah. And they really, it's really something they don't have to go through if you're on time with your spaying kind of thing. So
Yeah.
there we are. Yeah.
That's great.
And I don't know, any other questions out there?
Well, that's just fantastic. As I say again, I just on behalf of the municipality, I'm just so grateful for what you do. And if anybody wants to get a hold of CAWES, what's the best way to do that?
Either or. I'm always at my desk, and I'm always answering emails. So that is info@cawes.org, or just give us a call on our phone number, which is 947-2555. And that comes directly through to me all the time, so you'll always catch me there.
And there's a second email address, right? cause.bowen@gmail.com. Is that?
There is and yes, there is and there isn't. It's the same address. It's just that the Gmail one sends it through to the info at CAWES. I think we're just going to stick with the info at CAWES one because it's easier to remember. And they come to the same box and it's actually the same email. It's just a different way of setting it up. When we have the new website, all of that stuff will become apparent. And we are working on a brand new website at the moment too.
Lovely, lovely. And
yeah.
and you also have an office in Artisan.
Oh, we do actually. That's one of the biggest celebrations for the 20th anniversary. I forgot to say that. I apologize. We do have an office which is being paid for by donations, not from the general public, but from board members and from myself. And so it's not costing the organization anything at all, but we found out it's been invaluable because people have a place to go. They have a place to come and drop off things or come and ask for information. We often have people in here looking for dogs or cats, or it's all things that we keep monitoring so that we know that people we have a face now. For 20 years, it was very much, you know, behind closed doors, CAWES behind closed doors. And but now we're up in Addison Square. We're in the dark blue building, and our address is 596B Artisan Lane. And anyone is welcome at any time. Not just to drop off things, but just to come and chat if you want to about animals. Yeah.
That's great. Good. And so we will put the recording, we'll disseminate the recording. And
thank you.
Yeah. So
thanks, Bunny. Thanks for setting this up, because this is it's our first one, but I'm sure there's going to be more.
Yeah, maybe
and I'll get better at
other
it.
Educational events in the future. We can look at that for wildlife and things like that.
Yeah, and as you and I were talking about earlier, we do have the proposal getting set in stone and be accepted to do an education series in the schools. But of course, with COVID right now, it's not the best time to launch it. So we'll probably carry that on into the spring of next year. But like educating young people at that stage, I think is very important, because then as they grow up, they've already got that knowledge that some people don't have when they're adults, which I hope is, and it'll be something they can be interactive with, and something hopefully that they will take on board, you know, even volunteering for us and things like that. It would be you know, with a lesser, you know, not trapping cats or anything, but you know what I mean. Yeah, just to get them involved, to get the community involved, I think is the most important thing. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody that came today. And we'll carry on, I guess, with our collaborative efforts. And yeah.
Oh, sorry, someone just woke up. Look.
I wanted to join in. That's good.
Did you just want to join in at the end? Did you? Yeah. So thank you everybody that came.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Kim, do you want to stay on for a moment?
Sure. Are we off recording?
I'm just going to stop the recording now.
Yeah. Doesn't want to stop.